Hello and welcome back to Get to Know a World of Warships Clan, a short podcast with Boggzy and Synpax. I am Boggzy. I'm here, of course, with the leader of TNG Synpax.
Hey, how's it going, man?
It's going very well. I had a lot of clan brawl activity this weekend.
Yeah, it was good. We our clan did, I think, what we are expected to do, which is to win that. That's been an event we've been pretty consistent at winning in the past. When we first, it's obviously not the most competitive, high strategy, super unicom kind of competition, but you know, the nice thing about Brawl is that it really gives everybody the chance to get together in the same branch and all play together. And the first time we won a brawl, we actually hadn't been doing as well as we have more recently in clan battles or in COT. So just being able to do that initially kind of gave us, I think, some energy to push into the other more competitive forms like clan battles and COTs. But did you have a good time, Bogsy?
I certainly did, and yes, TNG did pretty well. I don't want to take all the credit for that. I got to share that with Hugh and Song, perhaps, and maybe Beasley. But we had a good time. These smaller team formats, like even the 1v1 ranked or this 4v4, they do have a really important use, I think, which is that they tend to show you exactly how specific ships match up against one another in smaller scenarios. That was really educational as well as fun. So I had a good time.
Yeah, and it's just good team building. By the way, I wanted to mention something to you. Obviously, our Discord, the new guys, North American Clan Embassy. We welcome all people, whether you're in a clan, not in a clan leader, whatever. Everybody's welcome. The only rule is to be polite. But one thing we've done for a very long time, and this is going to somewhat segue into our guests, is that we have had tags on our server for those who are either active duty or veterans of military services, and not just the U.S. military services. So I was just taking a look today. We've got about 20 Navy veterans, a bunch of Navy actives, almost 20 Army veterans, and we've got folks from Coast Guard. We've got people from the Canadian Army veterans. So, and if obviously Marines, Air Force, and if there's anybody's on our server who's served in the military that's not listed, they should reach out and let me know, and we'll get them those tags. But just one of those kind of cool things we do, and it's nice to give a little bit of recognition where it's been earned.
You're absolutely right about that. And speaking of recognition, today we are very pleased to have exactly that. We have a veteran type clan, which I'm going to learn a little bit more about here as we go. So please welcome our guest today, which is NAM, the North America Militia. I have here Captain Bond and Pete. Say hello, Captain Bond. Start us.
Hey, how's it going, you guys? Thanks for having us. I appreciate it.
Very glad to have you here. Say hi, Pete.
How's it going, guys?
It's going very,
Thanks
very,
for
very
having me.
well. Thank you for being here.
Pete sounds like the Navy, doesn't he? He sounds like the Navy.
Absolutely, absolutely. Right now, in port, not feeling too well, unfortunately. For anyone listening who's heard, obviously there's an American carrier that has been infested with COVID. We obviously wish the best for all of them. They're doing hard work out there. But let's get into this, guys. I want to know your clan. It's a military-based clan, but does that mean that everyone in your clan is actually active or retired or inactive military?
No, it is not. We do. We have special ways that we do that. Verification forms. It's 96% military. We do take civilians. We do have a lot of active duty that are currently deployed right now. Veterans, retired. But other than that, I mean, it's open gaming. It's for everybody. We don't discriminate on if you didn't serve or not. So that's how we proceeded.
That's good, Pete, because I didn't serve. I am one of the civilians that is part of the leadership here, and when I joined the clan, when I saw the advertisement for it that it was a military clan, my grandfather was in the military, my dad was in the military, so I really appreciated the structure that I was expecting to see, and that's exactly what we do have. So it was the right fit for me, and obviously I've moved my way up from regular dude to management. So
Regular dude to exceptional dude, is that right?
yeah, I guess.
Sure. Well, okay. So you guys talking a little bit about leadership structure. How much of that military, I guess, commonality would you say affects the way that your clan is structured and the way that your clan operates?
Go, Pete.
Pretty much it's run like the military. We have our ranks that for the leadership to go to base off of. So basically, it's the same way. Follow the chain of command. If it gets real bad, then it comes to me and then my other staff members, JCOSs, JCOSs.
That's not true, Pete. Usually it comes to me first. The doo-doo rolls to me first, and then I call you.
Oh my God, the mudslinging has begun. Well, so I'm curious, Pete, are you the founding member of this clan? Is that one of you two? How'd you guys get started?
I've started this clan in April of 1999. It was a couple of buddies of mine. Our first game was EverQuest.
No.
Yep.
Wow.
So
In 1999, I was in high school, and I was warned by, I think, my parents of the dangers of online gaming because somebody had lost their character on EverQuest and had committed suicide, and it made the news.
that rumor, we heard that too, but we never, we just let it go. We had our own group. It was just a bunch of guys that I served with. It was something to do. We were all playing, and then in 2001, when America's Army came out, most of us were all beta testers, and we baited that game, and that's when it exploded for America's Army and Battlefield 1942 when it came out. At the highest point, we were 2,500 strong. As you know, most places have bad leadership or make a bad decision and something goes wrong and you lose people.
Well, I wouldn't know that because Synpax never makes any mistakes.
He's required to say that. It's in his non-disclosure agreement.
There's actually a gun pointed at my head right now. You just can't see it.
Mm-hmm.
So 2,500 people. That's the largest. I mean, I thought TNG was a pretty widespread clan. We've talked to a couple clans that are huge already, but I mean, how many of those? Obviously, that's 2,500 in 2001. You said. How big is your clan now?
We're sitting at, with you count the active duty that are deployed, that are in the forms, for close to probably 600 right now.
600. Is that? I mean, are those all essentially warships players, or are they doing other games as well?
Other games as well.
I see.
Is World of Warships your primary game, or is it like a side game where your primary focus is maybe something else?
It's our primary game right now.
What else are you guys playing these days?
We do America's Army, Rust, World of Tanks, Kill and Floor, PUBG.
And of course, Ghost Hunter, Ghost Monster Chaser, Monster Hunter. Yeah, that's it, Monster Hunter. There's quite a few that play that for some reason.
Wow. So I have a question for you. A group that's been around as long as you guys have tends to form cliques, like close networks of people who kind of know each other, trust each other, played together for 2 decades now. Do you think that how do you combat kind of forming sort of an elitist group that's separate from people who's new and might want to join, or so that these cliques don't sort of dominate the clan, that makes it harder for new people to come in and penetrate and become part of something when there's already this well-established network?
I don't like cliques. The guys that's been in my group that are in top positions that I hold them to, I told him, I was like, if you do this position, you will play with the newer person for a while. Go in, don't be afraid to just go in and say, hey, let's roll.
Go ahead, Pete.
For me, I lead by example. I will go play with a new person. I'll go down there and be like, hey man, let's run. And I'll run with them for a little bit, and then I'll find somebody else that's on, say, hey, can you run with this guy? We make them feel welcome, make it feel homely, that they can relax.
And we actually are in the middle of a tournament today that's gone on way longer than I expected. We actually call it NAMFest. It's our first annual. And we had the experienced players in World of Warships. The rule was they had to get another player that they didn't play with regularly to be the third member. It was kind of like a shipstorm format. So they're playing that right now, actually. I have a stunt double taking care of running it for me while I'm doing this interview. So we try to do things like that.
Sure. Yeah. I have one more question for you guys before we take a quick little break here, and that is, with such a big clan, especially one that is sort of tied together by common service, do you guys ever have any sorts of meetups outside of the games, IRL, as they?
We have in the past at some of the events, the ship storm or the ship events that Wargaming puts on.
Yeah, sure.
There were a few guys that met up at one of the early ones on the. It was in Texas somewhere, and I don't remember if it was. I think it was an aircraft carrier, Pete, wasn't it? When the
Yes.
Yeah, it was the aircraft carrier. I went to the Iowa one. I live in California. Pete lives in Ohio, and so I went to the Iowa event, and I met players from ARP and some of the other clans, which obviously you interviewed ARP earlier in your podcast.
Sure
Uh,
did.
but there was nobody from our clan that actually came to the Iowa event. It was just me.
That's exciting. I'm in Los Angeles myself, and I've been meaning to make it down to the Midway, which I believe is in San Diego, or is it Long
Yep.
Beach?
San Diego. It's right. It's right by the airport.
Yeah,
I,
that should be a really cool thing to see. But we're gonna take a real quick break here, guys, and when we get back, we got some competitive questions for you about how you guys actually conduct yourselves in this wonderful game we call Ships. So we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be right back with Get to Know a World of Warships clan with Boggzy and Synpax. Thank you and welcome back to Get to Know a World of Warships Clan, a short podcast with Boggzy and Synpax. We are here with the North America Militia, NAM, and we're about to get talking some serious business here about competitive gaming. Synpax, you got a question?
Yeah, well, yeah. One thing I want to say is that, our clan is not among the oldest, but we've been around the block a few times. We're not exactly the quote-unquote new guys. But one thing I've always noticed is that whenever we enter King of the Seas tournament, which, has been going on these last few weeks, you guys are always there. And, I kind of marvel at the fortitude because it's not easy to put a team together for that, to prepare, and then, putting aside all the practice time, but then actually have to make the tournaments, have enough people online. So I just wanted to just hear your thoughts on your approach to that, what you do to get ready, and how you figure out who's in your lineup.
Wow, that's a great question. So our first King of the Sea was 8. So we just had 10, correct? Do I have my numbers correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so our first one was King of the Sea 8, and we actually got out of the Swiss stage and we made it to the group stage in our very first try, which was something that we weren't expecting, so it was a big surprise for us. We played in 9 and we didn't get out of the Swiss stage, so that was kind of a disappointment. But we just recently played, obviously, in COTS 10, and we made it to the group stage again. And so, making our players, we do have a competitive division within NAM, and so a lot of the players came from that area. We had 20 players apply, and we just basically went down them and basically talked amongst ourselves and put the lineup together that way. And you're right, it does take a tremendous amount of time, to the point that the guy who did our COTS stuff said he's not doing it for this upcoming clan battle season. He needed a break because it takes hours, as you know, to get it together.
So that also brings another question. You're another clan that is a large clan outside the game, and then there's the in-game clans that sort of function as vehicles for your, how you sort and organize your people. How is that structured? Because I know I've seen up to NAM 4, but there's a NAM 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, and how's that organized? Is there any kind of like skill stratification for clan battle seasons, or how do you put that together?
Yeah, and I'm taking these questions because Pete kind of just lets me take. So my background is I used to run an online stock car racing league on iRacing, but before that it was the 10 network with Papyrus. I was a beta tester with Dale Earnhardt and Kevin Harvick and a bunch of players. I don't know, you've seen Fox Sports 1 broadcast it. I had 1,500 drivers racing every week in my league back in the late 90s, early 2000s. So my experience comes from that. So how we do it in NAM, we've changed it pretty much every clan battle season, but last season we had 3 different divisions that actually ran clan battles. This year we're consolidating it down to 2. and one of them will be competitive, and the other one will not be competitive. It will be for the newer players to get. And we know that we're never going to be like that top clan. That's not really our goal. Our goal is basically give an outlet for those competitive players to get into strats and positioning and all that stuff, and the newer players get their chance to play and basically learn how the game goes. So we're going to have 10 players that play on the competitive team for the first couple of weeks to help us get out of Gale and Squall as fast as possible, and then we will move them to the lower, the newer group of players and teach them the strats. Because if we just handed them a spreadsheet, a slide deck with a PowerPoint with positioning, they wouldn't know what to do. So that's how we're going to help them along and get better. And that's the whole idea, is to get everybody better.
Absolutely. And so I'm kind of curious, since Clan Wars is coming up soon. I know that everyone just spent a whole lot of time and energy going through COTS and watching COTS and being invested in that. But
yeah,
needless to say, Clan Wars is coming up really, really soon. So since you just mentioned that you guys are going to be trying some new strats here to get yourselves get a couple teams out of the lower leagues and into the upper leagues quickly, have you guys found anything that maybe newer clans can kind of heed as advice in terms of really formulating a new team sort of out of folks that have a varying skill degree, I suppose?
That's a great question. I think it's really important for, there are some people that have an aptitude for it and they talk about it. Maybe they go in the training room and they do those kinds of things that we all know that you need to do, like armor penetration testing, and this clan battles, they're adding CVs. Yay, I'm sure we're all super excited about that. That's sarcasm.
CVs, so, what are those?
Yeah, I know. So we're pretty fortunate. We do have one Super Unicum CV player, so we actually have a room in our Discord called CV School for anybody who's interested, so that they can watch him play, and he's doing commentary. But getting to your point is getting those players that are interested to kind of help the other players that maybe don't have the same level of interest, getting them together. Like, we have meetings at night and we go into, I'm sure you go into warships tactics, and we start doing maps and talk about what ships are going to be viable in any given season, because we know the ships that ran last season aren't going to be viable as much in the next season. So that kind of things are figured out in advance before we get into it. So that's what I would recommend them do, is figure out what ships you're going to play and then go from there.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that. Well, we're getting to the point where we're going to do my favorite part of this show, which is you fellas get the opportunity to poach Synpax so that I can stage a coup and then force all the other people in this clan to do all the hard work that Synpax does, and I'll just sit on the throne and make them peel me grapes and feed me good food. So let's poach Synpax. Go for it, Synpax.
Yeah, so this is a chance for you to tell me why I might want to join your clan, all the great things or wonderful things, or and maybe somebody in our audience will key in on what you've got to say and look you guys up. So, Poach, go ahead.
Pete,
I'm all yours.
You can do it, Mr. Bond.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I think NAM brings a lot of camaraderie and friendship and a lot of good times, hanging out with other players. But if you're interested in the competitive, and you don't have quote unquote the stats to play with some of the higher up teams, NAM's a good place to come, and we will teach you how to play competitively, because we all know it's different than random. So really, that's the kind of clan for a player who's out there, wants to learn, can start off easy and move up to the more complicated gameplay.
I'll have to think about that. That was a really good pitch. I'll get back to you on it.
I won't be waiting for the mail to arrive.
Would you also say that NAM is an excellent place for anyone who has been in the service and would like to share something in common with other service members, active, reserve, or retired? Would you say that too?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm, me being the civilian, I glossed right over that, and Pete's probably like doing a face palm right now. But yeah, it's a great place for if you've been deployed before. We have guys on submarines right now that play clan battles. One of them actually played in COTS. He's on a submarine, so
Do they
that was
have Wi-Fi on submarines?
he was at Japan on shore, and he, in quarantine, so he played there while he was in Japan. He had to get up really early in the morning to play COTS. But yeah, it's a great place for vets to come and hang out and experience some of a little bit of what they got when they were deployed, and get to talk about things that the other people might not understand.
So before you go, Pete, do you have anything else you'd like to share?
Yes, I do. As I said, we've been around since 1999, and my buddy Kyle and I, he's a veteran of the Army, our primary shift changed in 2002 when we started seeing an increase of veterans and active duty members playing. I changed the shift to be a helping group, a support group, after I was on one night. One guy was talking about committing suicide. I sat on channel knowing I had to work the next day at 5 o'clock in the morning. I sat and talked to him until 4 in the morning and talked him down. My Discord is always open on the phone or on my phone. If I'm not around, I always recommend, if someone's having trouble, as our veterans are, get a hold of me. It's not worth being the 22, and I just want to put that out there. I know you guys probably have some veterans. There's some other veterans in the other clans that you guys are going to be interviewing. We're here to support each other. Bond's been on. I know he's probably talked to a couple people, but for myself, since 2002, of changing my role of what I do here, I have talked 75 people down from committing suicide, and I just want that to know that other groups need to take that into heed, be like, hey, that's what it's supposed to be as a family here, and that's what basically we are.
Yeah, for sure.
That's really kind of you to share that. I think it's important because obviously we're aware of the statistics of veterans and suicide rates, which are way too high. And when I see a group of military veterans form a clan of warships, I know it's more than just playing warships with people who understand the jargon and the abbreviations. It's about forgive me, maybe I'm misspeaking here, but almost like a little bit of a therapy, like being together with guys who've experienced what you've experienced, who can relate, who know what you've been through. Because if you've not been in the service, especially if you've not been in conflict, you have no idea really what it's like. And I know that one of the things that really reduces the potential for self-harm or otherwise going down some other terrible roads like alcoholism or drug use is being around people who can relate to you, and when you share what's the experience, what your life's like now, are in harmony with it. They know what you're talking about, rather than somebody who's a civilian who's never experienced that life and it's completely foreign to them.
Exactly.
Well, I think, Boggzy, you want to close the show out? I will say, though, that NAM's Discord server link, along with the TNG Discord embassy link, will be in the description below. Boggzy?
Absolutely. I want to say thank you specifically to Navy CB Pete, obviously, for making that offer to anybody listening who is in the service or was in the service. The fact that there's a resource available to you that Pete just mentioned, and again, their Discord link will be down in the description of this. It's my stepmom was a veterans therapist for 25 years and has dealt with this sort of thing before. And, it's not funny and it's not a game. And so the very fact that, Pete, you're willing to be there to help, our brothers and sisters in the uniform, that's a really admirable thing. And I'm really grateful that you mentioned it here today, because it had not occurred to me. So I think we're going to close with just some plugs here. Obviously, NAM's Discord will be in the description. Please check it out. Other than that, we have Clan Wars coming up soon. Synpax, anything you want to say?
No, I think we're good. Looking forward to doing the next episode.
Absolutely. Congratulations to everybody who played in the King of the Sea tournament. As of this episode, there is still the international rounds to do, but North American and I guess regional, is that what we're calling it? Regional? Regional's finished. So anyway, that'll do it for us today. Thank you all very much for listening. We hope to see you on the next one. This has been Get to Know a World of Warships Clan, a short podcast with Boggzy and Synpax. Take care. Thank you, Nam.